gone too far. And so, let me get everything set up here. I don't quite see myself yet, so that's not great. Just waiting. I'm exploring a dual cast on Twitter. I don't know how to see if I'm actually achieving or accomplishing that. Bear with me. We haven't gotten started yet. I think we're in. This works. Hey, Agent 34. Do you see the Constitution? This might be the first time you read through it. I'm just kidding. I'm just busting your chops. Hey, man. All right. Brandy Poor, how are you doing? I heard my wife was okay. I got to tune in for a bit. It was a lot of fun. It was great seeing her doing it. If she's doing a good job, let me know. This is the 50K special. Thank you, Weekend Warrior, for dropping in. Hello. What's going on, everybody? I thought for 50K, dress silly and read the Constitution. That's something I've been thinking about for a while. Thank you for joining me in this, I don't know what you'd call it, silly occasion. So the idea is, with the question in mind, are federal agencies, have they gone too far? Yeah, the constitutional knowledge. We're gonna do the Bill of Rights. That's where I really get into it. Those are my nuts and bolts. Yeah. She said thank you. I'll tell you said that, Brandon. Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed having her on. I like having my family involved. I'm gonna try to get everybody more involved. There was one stream where my little one ran in here, and I stiff-armed her to keep her out, and I've always felt bad about that. Oh, you know the Constitution, Agent 34? We'll see about that. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna let things happen organically. If the dogs get in here, they get in here. The children. I'm not gonna be, one of the people that vigilantly keep their kids' faces off of everything. It's just too hard. It's too much. I can't. And I can't be expected to. So everybody, thank you for trickling in. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for getting us to 50K. That's crazy. I thought we'd do the Constitution together. So let me actually scroll up a little here, because that's where we're starting. I hope. And let me know, chat, if anything could be adjusted. How's it going, Carpenter? Is it a little loud over my voice? Okay, thank you, Brandy. Is that helping? Thank you for letting me know. It's the first time I'm streaming the music through the speakers instead of through my headphones. So this is, I thought the headphones might mess with the immersion of what I've been calling colonial drag. Out of the colonial costume. So, I don't want to keep everybody waiting. Yeah. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. From India. Welcome from India, Mr. Carpenter. Article 1, Section 1. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and the House of Representatives. And House of Representatives. Section 2. The House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states, and the electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. No person shall be a representative who shall not have attained to the age of 25 years and been 7 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an which he shall be chosen. How we're doing? It didn't change for you guys. Okay, interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and. It's not Vivaldi, I don't know if I like it that much. I see what's going on here too. It's like pumped up all the way. I'm very sorry about that. It must have been very loud. I don't even know if, you can hear that. All right. Yeah, Mike, I'm going through it. I'm trying to figure out where these federal agencies get off. I've read through the Constitution several times, but never with the question in mind, what are these federal agencies doing? And I have a feeling it's going to come somewhere in Article II, the executive branch, and where the president, needs the powers to do things that he wants to do. But let's find that out together. Representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states, which may be included within this union, according to their respective numbers, which shall be determined by adding to the whole number of free persons, including those bound to service for a term of years, and excluding Indians not taxed, 3/5 of all other persons. The actual enumeration shall be made within 3 years after the first meeting of the Congress of the United States, and within every subsequent term of 10 years, in such manner as they shall be law direct. As they shall by law direct. The number of representatives shall not exceed 1 for every 30,000, but each state shall have at least one representative, and until such enumeration shall be made, the state of New Hampshire shall be entitled to choose 3, Massachusetts 8, Rhode Island and Providence Plantations 1, Connecticut 5, New York 6, New Jersey 4, Pennsylvania 8, Delaware 1, Maryland 6, Virginia 10, North Carolina 5, South Carolina 5, and Georgia 3. When vacancies happen in the representation from any state, the executive authority thereof shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies. The House of Representatives shall choose their speaker and other officers and shall have the sole power of impeachment. Let me see if I can get everything there for you. How we doing? Better. Yeah, no music's better. Low music in the background was okay. I could start it back up. Low music, no music. There's no rules. Let's get Section 3. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, chosen by the legislature thereof for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. And you got to think, what if we still did it that way? I don't know how different things would be around here. Immediately after, they shall be assembled in consequence of the first election. They shall be divided as equally as may be into 3 classes. The seats of the senators of the first class shall be vacated at the expiration of the second year, of the second class at the expiration of the 4th year, and that the third class at the expiration of the 6th year, so that 1/3 may be chosen every second year. And if vacancies happen by resignation or otherwise during the recess of legislature of any state, the executive thereof may make temporary appointments until the next meeting of the legislature, which shall then fill such vacancies. So, yeah, okay, that's funny. It's not talking about people from India, Mr. Carpenter. I believe they're talking about Native American Indians. It's a term that's been, I think it's a term of art even, in the U.S. Constitution and other codes. It's been codified. It's a codified term. And I'm not sure if that's the correct way to say that. But onward. No person shall be a senator who shall not have attained to the age of 30 years and been 9 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state of which he shall be chosen. And they word that a little weird, right? Who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of the state for which he shall be chosen. I don't know, maybe it doesn't mean what I think it means, but it's not what we're trying to get. This is not what we're trying to get to the crux of here tonight. Although it's good to know, and it's nice to know that we've, changed this up completely. Now senators are chosen in a popular election. That's the way of the land, right? It used to be the state legislatures. Yep. Yes. So, the Vice President of the United States shall be President of the Senate, but shall have no vote unless they be equally divided. That is the same. The Senate shall choose their other officers and also a President pro tempore in the absence of the Vice President, or when he shall exercise the office of President of the United States. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. When sitting for that purpose, they shall be on oath or affirmation. When the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside, and no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members present. And it's good to know this is how it's done, because if you watched, you wouldn't know, because people like Mayorkas just get to skip town. Or not skip town, but, you know, they skirt the process. I was about to type the Constitution, but no way I'm typing all that. Yeah. Funny. They're going to cut you off like 2,000 characters in, too. Judgment in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than to removal from office and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office to honor, trust, or profit under the United States. But the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to law. So what that means is after someone becomes either impeached in the Senate, they're subject to criminal and civil liability, I believe. Mr. Day, what's your opinion on the attack on Trump? I think it displayed... Oh, well, you retracted your own message. But my opinion is I've been more spiritual or religious since then. And I giggle, but I'm serious about that. Because the forces that want that man, hurt or worse, they're palpable, they're out there. And it's wrong because there are factions in our own government. So this seems to be willful, planned incompetence, as Matt Gunia. I don't know if you're just lurking, Matt, if you're actually here. Let me know. Section 4. The times... Oh, went too far. Section 4. The times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof, but the Congress may at any time by law make or alter such regulations except as to the places of choosing senators. The Congress shall assemble at least once in every year, and such meeting shall be on the first Monday in December unless they shall by law appoint a different day. Section 5. Each house shall be the judge of elections, returns and qualifications of its own members, and a majority of each shall constitute a quorum to do business. But a smaller number may adjourn from day to day, and may be authorized to compel the attendance of absent members in such manner, and under such penalties as each house may provide. Each house may determine the rules. I feel like I got something. One of those things. Feels like actual Hunger Games. Yes, I agree, street artist. Where was I? In such manner and under such penalties as each house may provide. Each house may determine the rules of its proceedings, punish its members for disorderly behavior, and, with the concurrence of 2/3, expel a member. It makes me think of, Representative Bowman, who didn't actually achieve, I think he's not reelected, allegedly, but he should have been, for pulling the fire alarm to disturb a vote. And am I competing with the Trump rally? That wasn't intentional. I'm sorry. I just wanted to do like a impromptu thank you for 50K, Eric Rodriguez. Thank you, everybody. Again, I can't thank you enough. It's been a crazy journey. What is it? April 10th, something around April, I hit 1,000 subscribers, and that was, I thought, a huge deal. And just a couple months later, 50K. So thank you all so much. I couldn't do it if I was just doing this by myself. I feel like a crazy person. Thank you for coming in and chatting with me too. Okay, each house shall keep a journal of its proceedings, and from time to time publish the same, excerpting such parts as may, in their judgment, require secrecy. And the yeas and nays of members of either house on any question shall, at the desire of 1/5 of those present, be entered on the journal. Thank you, Eric. Yes. Neither house during the session of Congress shall, without the consent of the other, adjourn for more than 3 days, nor to any other place than that in which the two houses shall be sitting. Section 6. The senators and representatives shall receive a compensation for their services to be ascertained by law and paid out of the Treasury of the United States. They shall, in all cases, except treason, felony, and breach of peace, be privileged from arrest during their attendance at the session of their respective houses, and in going to and returning from the same, and for any speech or debate in either house, they shall not be questioned in any other place. That's a nice little privilege I forgot about. I don't know, does that still hold up? That's cool. In all cases, except treason, felony, and breaches of peace. Okay. No senator or representative shall, during the time for which he was elected, be appointed to any civil office under the authority of the United States, which shall have been created, or the annulments whereof shall have been increased during such time, and no person holding any office under the United States shall be a member of either house during his continuance in office. What is going on? Is the Hawk in here? What's up, the Hawk? I missed you. I see someone tagging you, though. That's all I know. Section 7. All bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives, and you're here with me, right? You're all right there. All right. May propose on or concur with amendments as on other bills. Every bill which shall have passed the House of Representatives and the Senate shall, before it become law, be presented to the President of the United States. If he approves, he shall sign it, but if not, he shall return it with his objections to that House in which it shall have originated, who shall enter the objections at large on their journal and proceed to reconsider it. After such reconsideration, 2/3 of that House shall agree to pass the bill. It shall be sent together with the objections to the other House, by which it shall likewise be reconsidered, and if approved by 2/3 of that House, it shall become law. But in all such cases, the votes of both Houses shall be determined by yeas and nays, and the names of the persons voting for and against the bill shall be entered of the journal of each House respectively. If any bill shall not be returned by the President within 10 days, Sundays excepted, after it shall have been presented to him, the same shall be a law, in like manner as if he had signed it, unless the Congress by their adjournment prevents its return, in which case it shall not be a law. All right. Okay. Every order, resolution, or vote to which the concurrence of the Senate and House of Representatives may be necessary, except on a question of adjournment, shall be presented to the President of the United States, and before the same shall take effect, shall be approved by him, or being disapproved by him, shall be repassed by 2/3 of the Senate and House of Representatives, according to the rules and limitations prescribed in the case of a bill. Section 8. The Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises, to pay the debts and provide for the common defense, and general welfare of the United States. But all duties, imposts, and excises shall be uniform throughout the United States. And just if you need to shout me out, the @ helps me see it because the orange highlights it for me on the back end. To borrow money on the credit of the United States, to regulate commerce with foreign nations and among several states and with Indian tribes, to establish a uniform rule of naturalization and uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the United States, to coin money, regulate the value thereof and of foreign coin, and fix the standard of weights and measures, to provide for the punishment of counterfeiting the securities and current coin of the United States, to establish post offices and post roads, to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and investors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries. That's where a lot of patent and trademark law comes from. It's rooted right there. Onward. To constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court, to define and punish piracies and felonies committed to the high seas and offenses against the law of nations. High seas just sounds cool. To declare war, grant letters and marks of reprisal, and make rules concerning captures on land and water. So this is cool because Senator Mike Lee mentioned this on the floor, throwaway sentence. He's talking about it would be cool if we got back into the business of marks and reprisals. which is basically a letter saying that you can be a pirate, I think. Let me confirm this. I don't want to lie to you. A letter of marque and reprisal is a government license that allows private citizens or privateer to attack and seize property from enemy ships during wartime. How cool is that? Let's do it. The channel, the story arc of this channel is going to be crazy. We're going to go seek a letter of marque and reprisal and get a boat and actually do it. No, but that would be a good one, right? To raise and support armies, but no appropriation of money to that use shall be for a longer term than 2 years. Wait a second. Yeah, I need that letter too, Weekend Warrior. To raise and support armies, but no appropriation of money to that use shall be for a longer term than 2 years. To provide and maintain a navy. To make rules for the government and regulations of the land and naval forces. To provide for calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions. To provide for organizing, arming, and disciplining the militia, and for governing such part of them as may be employed in the service of the United States, reserving to the states, respectively, the appointment of the officers and the authority of training the militia according to the discipline prescribed by Congress. To exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such district, not exceeding 10 miles square, as may, by cession of particular states, and the acceptance of Congress become the seat of the government of the United States. And to exercise like authority over all places purchased by the consent of the legislature of the state in which the same shall be, for the erection of forts, magazines, arsenals, dockyards, and other needful buildings, and to make laws, and to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers and all other powers vested by the Constitution in the government of the United States or in the department or officer thereof. That is called the necessary and proper clause. It's where they get a lot of what they claim is their power comes from that. To make all laws which shall be necessary and proper. They've gone too far. Section 9. The migration or importation of such persons as any of the states now existing shall think proper to admit shall not be prohibited by the Congress prior to the year 1808. 1808. Interesting. But a tax or duty may be imposed on such importation not exceeding $10 for each person. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless when in cases of rebellion or invasion the public safety may require it. Interesting. With events in recent history, the suspension of habeas corpus, we've seen this. And as I sit here right now, was it Trump? Who done it? Lincoln did it? I don't know who else did it. Is it just Lincoln? Lincoln. Could be. Anybody let me know. I don't know why I said Trump. I feel like someone said he's gonna do it. Is that what I'm getting? Is that what I'm understanding? All right. Onward. Sorry. No bill of attainder or ex post facto law shall be passed. That's a law that basically makes you a criminal after, there's basically what they did to Trump. They're criminalizing him, but this isn't exactly what it is. Is being a lawyer as a profession going to be obsolete in the near future because it feels very old-fashioned? I know, it does. It feels like it could be. I don't know how very near. You have to define very near. I think maybe it's got 20 years left, maybe 10. It could be around forever because the legislatures or a lot of lawyers there. They make the laws. They might make it so you always need lawyers. That's what they do, Sons of guns. No capitation or other direct tax shall be laid unless in proportion to the census or enumeration herein directed to be taken. No tax or duty shall be laid on articles exported from any states. By the way, I was trying to be live on Twitter. I don't know if I achieved being live on Twitter. I've had, okay, it worked. It's not a. It's not my YouTube chat. I love my YouTube chat. Let's put it that way. Okay. No preference shall be given by any regulation or commerce or revenue to the ports of one state over those or of another. No, nor shall vessels bound to or from one state be obliged to enter, clear, or pay duties in another. No money shall be drawn from the treasury. Oh my gosh. Mr. Carpenter, thank you so much. Thank you so much. This isn't your typical stream. I'm doing a little 50K special. I thought I'd be a little silly, and yeah, that's the silliness of the 50K. You know, that's the little being a little silly. Okay, no preference shall be given by any regulation of commerce or revenue to the ports. Okay, we did this one. No money shall be drawn from the treasury, but in consequence of appropriations made by law. And a regular statement and account of the receipts and expenditures of all public money shall be published from time to time. Boy, I feel like we're not getting that one. No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall be without the consent of Congress, except of any present annulment, office, or title of any kind whatsoever from any king, prince, or foreign state. I wonder how that one's holding up. I don't keep up with that one. You gotta wonder. And thank you again, Mr. Carpenter. Section 10. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marks and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payments of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligations of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Right, and that's where you get the states can't coin their own money. Thank you. Oh well, thank you. I'm your first super chat. I thank you very much. Rohit. I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly, but thank you so much. Okay, no state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any imposts or duties on imports or exports, except what may be absolutely necessary for executing its inspection laws, and the net produce of all duties and imposts laid by any state on imports or exports shall be for the use of the Treasury of the United States, and all such laws shall be subject to the revision and control of the Congress. No state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any duty of tonnage, keep troops, or ships of war in time of peace, enter into any agreement or compact with another state, or with a foreign power, or engage in war unless actually invaded, or in such imminent danger as will not admit of delay. So it's curious. Like I said, one of the things I'm reading through this and thinking, because when I read through this in law school and probably throughout my education before that, is where did the federal agencies get off? So, and one of the federal agencies I have in mind when I'm thinking of this is Border Patrol. And does Texas have the right to protect their own border? And I think they do. Nothing stands out to me. No state shall keep troops, but without the consent of Congress, keep troops, let's say. And I don't know if there's been any. Well, let's not get hung up. Article 2 is we're right on the precipice. We're about to go over to Article 2. So that's a question that I'm asking in chat. Let me know what's up with the fit. I love it. This fit by great quality costume. Article 2. This is the powers of the president. This is where the president gets his power from. What's say about the attorney general stepping out of line? Oh man, this is one of the things I'm asking, Hawk. Thou shalt whoop their ass. 10 Commandments, I forgot. So this is exactly why I'm going through this. And for anybody who's not following this particular storyline in the legislature or the Department of Justice, Merrick Garland was held in contempt of Congress. But the people who enforce that kind of thing is the Department of Justice. And Merrick Garland, he's the head of the Department of Justice as the Attorney General of the United States. So they said that we're not gonna do this. So Merrick Garland skirts the law And then when it comes to the impeachment of Mayorkas, and I'm not sure if anybody else has done this. Thank you very much, Rohit. But if the Senate just hasn't brought it to the floor to impeach, that's what they did. Chuck Schumer basically said, yeah, we're not doing this. Forget about it. And they just moved on as if, business as usual. So you get Mayorkas, skirting what should be some sort of checks and balances. Where are the checks and balances? And that's one of the reasons I'm reading this. Rant concluded. Article 2. And this is going to be where the federal agencies are going to say they get their power from is Article 2. Section 1. The executive power shall be vested in the President of the United States of America. He shall hold his office during the term of 4 years, and together with the Vice President chosen for the same term, be elected as follows. Each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct a number of electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives to which the state may be entitled in the Congress, but no senator or representative or person holding an office of trust or profit under the United States shall be appointed an elector. Okay, the Attorney General was under the executive branch. Dave, the lawyer, we need a fact check. No, I know. The executive, DOJ and the Attorney General's on the executive branch, but what I'm saying is the Congress, the legislature, held the Attorney General in contempt of Congress, and the DOJ they're supposed to be enough reading. Now go and change the original. Very funny, very funny. Right, so I'm saying that the Congress is supposed to have checks and balances over the executive. The judicial has checks and balances over Congress and the executive. The executive has checks and balances over Congress and the judicial. All that whole thing. And so, while the DOJ and the Attorney General are under the executive, which is what I'm saying, Article 2, and where they derive their power from is Article 2, they seem to be skirting the checks and balances from at least Congress. We'll see with the Supreme Court, and that's Article 3. They've managed to curb some of. Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to go on a tangent, Hawk. The Supreme Court has curbed a little bit of the federal agency's powers with the recent decision overturning or limiting the Chevron deference, which was that these federal agencies can unilaterally, practically overnight, make a regulation like, bump stocks, right, are illegal, and then turn a bunch of law-abiding citizens overnight with the wave of a wand. They pass it, making laws. Are they allowed to do that kind of thing? And the answer from the Supreme Court is no, I think. Yeah. So let's go onward. Article 2. The electors shall meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for 2 persons, of whom one at least shall not be an inhabitant of the same state with themselves. And they shall make a list of all persons voted and of a number of votes for each, which list they shall sign and certify and transmit, sealed to the seat of the government of the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and House of Representatives, open all certificates, and votes shall be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes shall be the President, if such a number be the majority of the whole number of electors appointed, and if there be more than one who have such majority and have an equal number of votes, then the House of Representatives shall immediately choose by ballot one of them for President. And if no person having a majority, then from the 5 highest of the list, the said House, and this is hard to read, in the like manner choose the President, but in choosing the President, the votes shall be taken by the states, the representation from each state having 1 vote. A quorum for this purpose shall consist of a member or members from 2/3 of the states, and a majority of all the states shall be necessary to a choice. In every case, after that, the choice of the President, the person having the greatest number of votes of the electors shall be the Vice President. That's the number 2. The runner-up gets to be Vice President. But if there should remain 2 or more who have equal votes, the Senate shall choose from them by ballot the Vice President. So that's an interesting way that they used to do it. Is that right? Yeah. You just gotta wonder where we'd be and how they actually were able to change this stuff. I wish I had a time machine. I'd go back and, I'd go back further than this, but this would be a stop. This feels like training all over again, does it? Yeah, Agent 34. I think we probably had to memorize some parts of no, I don't know. I don't think so. West Point, I don't think it's part of the curriculum. You guys have to memorize a bunch of nonsense, and I only went there 1 year, so I wouldn't know what to do year 2, 3, and 4. I didn't know that. Okay. No person except a natural born. Wait, are we right? In the place where we're supposed to be. The Congress may determine the time of the choosing the electors and the day on which they shall give their votes, which day shall be the same throughout the United States. No person except a natural born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible for the office of the President. Neither shall be any person be eligible to that office who shall not have attained to the age of 35 years and be 14 years a resident within the United States. Interesting. In case of removal of the President from office or his death, resignation, or inability to discharge the powers, this is relevant, and duties of the said office, the same shall devolve on the Vice President, and the Congress may by law provide for the case of removal, death, resignation, or inability, both of the President and Vice President, declaring what officer shall then act as President, and such officer shall act accordingly until disability be removed or a President shall be elected. And so at some point, they must have executed, I don't know, some act, some law declared that it was going to be the Speaker of the House is next for succession. Oh, it's okay, Eric. I probably would have held off if I knew Trump was on, but yeah, that explains. No, and I can't believe I decided to do this when Trump's having a rally. And by all means, go back and forth. I don't want to compete with the man. Before he enter on the execution of his office, he shall take the following oath of affirmation. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of the President of the United States and will do the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution, and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the United States Constitution, or the Constitution of the United States. It's in there about a candidate can't be charged with a crime before an election. We went through something where, representatives, I might not have stood out to me, future, I might have missed it. But for my reading, it was people in the House of Representatives, when the House is in session, they can't be arrested except for breach of peace, felony, and something else. But it probably could have been snuck in there, and I didn't notice it. I wasn't looking for it. Brandy, you noticed the new emojis. Hey, KJ, what's up? What's going on? And so I heard that I can also do something like I can gift memberships, and I think it's 10 a month, and it's the last day of the month, so I think I had 5, and I can do another 5. I think I'm not sure if it's like a 1st to the 31st kind of thing, but I would like to do that. For anybody on this stream, thank you so much for coming. Let's get those memberships out there. I can gift memberships. And I think it's 10 a month, and it's the last day of the month, so I think I had 5, and I can do another 5. And gift 5. I think I'm not sure if it's like a 1st to the 31st. And it's totally random. I have no idea who it's going to do that. Who it's going to go to. For anybody on this stream, thank you so much for coming. Before we enter, we read that. Section 2. The President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States and of the militia of the several states when called into the actual service of the United States. He may require the opinion in writing of the and it's totally random. I have no idea who is going to departments upon any subject relating to the duties of their respective offices. Before he shall have power to section 2 and pardon. The President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army except in cases of the United States and of the militia of the several relevant because I don't know if it's of the United States. Not necessarily. He may require case of deja vu. No problem. And it's totally random. I have no executive departments upon any subject because we're talking about impeachment. We're talking about Mayorkas. Before he shall have power to section 2 and pardon. The President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army except in cases of the United States and of the militia. He was able to basically get out of that. That was because of the composition of the Senate. He may require case of deja vu. No problem. Controlled. It's totally random. And they just didn't bring it to the floor because we're talking about impeachment. Unfortunately, I think that's within their power to do it like that. 2 days. Voices keep going. What did I? Oh yeah. I think I probably. Right, because I started my own stream. So you can't. It's weird. You can't gift it from the back end. I have to, or if I can't see how. I have to go into the into my channel and watch it on the front end and then gift it. So, he shall have power by and with the advice and consent of the Senate to make treaties, provide 2/3 of the senators present concur, and he shall nominate and by with the advice and consent of the Senate shall appoint ambassadors, other public ministers, consuls, judges of the Supreme Court, and all other officers of the United States whose appointments are not herein otherwise provided for, and which shall be established by law, but the Congress may by law vest the appointment of such inferior officers as they think proper in the President alone, in the courts of law, or in the heads of departments. And this is where you get the huge debate over, let me know if it stopped echoing. I think it was echoing because I went into the street, because I don't know what I'm doing. No. This is where the debate between, whether or not Jack Smith needed to be confirmed or not by the Senate or the House or some sort of process. I think what the claim was, he's an inferior officer who doesn't need to be appointed, but I believe one of the Supreme Court justices, Thomas, signaled that he did. He believed that he did need to be confirmed in some way. Okay, it stopped. Good. The President shall have power to fill up all vacancies that may happen during the recess of the Senate by granting commissions, which shall expire at the end of their next session. And that reminds me, down here, right now, I'm in Florida, and Governor DeSantis just endorsed like a complete dip. Okay, good. I'm glad it stopped it. You can pick on me as much as you want. I need to find Jack works. My mother-in-law, my stepmother used to call, for jackass, she called people Jack. I like the name Jack for the record, but, Jack Smith, I guess, makes me like a little less. So we'll call people Jacks until there's a nice Jack that comes along and makes me change my mind. So you're battling a psychotic fly. The Hawk. Have you heard of the Shredder? I'm looking into getting one of these. I think I need one. It's basically like a gun that shoots salt, literally salt, and you can just take these flies down. Thank you, Yes Annie. Oh my gosh, thank you. And section 3, did we read this yet? You shall from time to time give Congress information of the State of the Union. This is where we get the State of the Union from. And recommend to their consideration such measures as he shall judge necessary and expedient. He may, on extraordinary occasions, convene both houses, or either of them, and in case of disagreement between them with respect to the time of adjournment, he may adjourn them to such time as he shall think proper. He shall receive ambassadors and other public ministers. He shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed, and shall commission all the officers of the United States. Section 4. This is a short little article. The President, Vice President, and all other officers, all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Now, it's scary that misdemeanors, because it seems like every crime is a misdemeanor, almost, pretty much by definition, kind of is, unless we're talking about like little traffic infractions. But you just don't see treason or bribery getting thrown around there. It's almost like it doesn't happen anymore. And I'm thinking to myself, well, then why did these guys write it in there? Right? A little weird. Yeah. It is Agent 34. It takes. I think it's gonna. Where are we? We're about 45 minutes in, and I calculated it should be about 45 minutes long. But I'm taking little breaks and we're chatting. Yeah, but it's I'm really good at that, by the way. So I don't know if you were here yesterday, Agent 34. Jacqueline, my wife, my wife coach. If you watch Rick and Morty, it's just that. But you can kind of figure in a hearing how long it's going to be. Senators get maybe 5 or 7 minutes. You can kind of average about 6. And if you go over, if you go under, and some don't show up, and I was like, it's probably going to end at about this time, and it was like right there within the margin of error. I was your electric swatter, hell yeah. I like the evolution. You got to get the whole, geared up. You got to have the electric swatter, the shredder. There's like 2 versions of the shredder. It's not what it sounds like. It looks like a revolver, like dipped in neon orange paint. And it shoots salt. I want it. Shredder, we're looking for a sponsor. All right, let's get Article 3 in there. We'll save Bill of Rights for another time, you know. Article 3, Section 1, the judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court. And this is relevant because Biden's trying to change this right now. And in such inferior courts as the Congress may, from time to time, ordain and establish, the judges both of the Supreme and inferior courts shall hold their offices during good behavior and shall, at stated times, receive for their services a compensation which shall not be diminished during their continuance in office. Section 2. The judicial power shall, and this is the last article. No, I'm sorry, this isn't the last article. I was going to say this is, yeah. I know how many articles there are, I swear. But these are the articles that I remember distinctly. I don't even remember reading 4, 5, and 6. Where were we? Section 2. The judicial power shall extend to all cases in law and equity arising under this Constitution, the laws of the United States, and treaties made or which shall be made under their authority, to all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, and consuls, to all cases of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction, to controversies to which the United States shall be a party, to controversies between two or more states, between a state and citizens of another state, between citizens of different states, between citizens of the same state claiming lands under grants or of different states, and between a state or citizens thereof and foreign states, citizens or subjects. Your dog's name is Shredder? That's a great name for a dog. And it's 2 syllables. I like a 2-syllable dog name. Shredder. Shredder! I like it. The Watchdog channel, we like dogs here. I want to get my dogs involved more. I just don't know how I'll get them up here. Maybe I'll get a camera just for them. In all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers and consuls, and those in which a state shall be a party, the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction. In all other cases before mentioned, the Supreme Court shall have appellate jurisdiction, both as to law and fact, with such exceptions and such regulations as the Congress shall make. I have one from there, and I think the other one I found at Home Depot. I'm missing something. You're placing the batteries on your electric fly swatter. Oh, he must be. That's a great name. Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Great dog name. The trial of all crimes, except in cases of impeachment, shall be by jury, and such trial shall be held in the state where the said crimes shall have been committed. But when not committed within any state, the trial shall be at such a place or places as the Congress may, by law, have directed. And I don't know how a fly got in here, but we have a fly in here now too. I'm a powerful manifester. Just kidding. Just kidding. Section 3. Treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them, or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of 2 witnesses to the same overt act, or on confession in open court. The Congress shall have power to declare the punishment of treason, but to no attainder of treason shall work corruption of blood or forfeiture except during the life of the person attained. Interesting fact. This was something that S-Dog can, absolutely. This was something that actually has happened before. I believe Jefferson was the president, and Luther Martin was a guy you don't hear about, but he was one of the founding fathers, written out of history. He makes an appearance in Mike Lee's book there. Luther Martin was the vice president when he shot Aaron Burr. And he didn't want to do it. He wasn't a huge proponent of duels, but he did it anyway. And after that, his reputation suffered. I'm not sure if it suffered from that act specifically, but there were some other things that happened, and he wouldn't be the vice president for Jefferson's next term. During that time, or it could have been some time after that. Well, I think Jefferson was still in office when someone said, yeah, by the way, that guy Luther Martin, he wants to raise an army and come down here and basically take revenge or something like that. And he was brought before trial, and on this technicality, I think, if I'm remembering correctly in Senator Lee's book, they couldn't get him on treason because they only had 1 witness. I think that was the reason. I don't know. I could be wrong here. It could be some other reason. But if I'm not mistaken, that was the story of Luther Martin and, no, I'm sorry. Was it Aaron Burr? Luther Martin was Aaron Burr's attorney. That's what it was. Okay. I don't know why I know the things I know. Okay. Aaron Burr shot Alexander Hamilton. That's what it was. And chat, I'm a little disappointed that you didn't catch me on this. No, what was it? Alexander had it coming. He was both a snob and a punk. Yes. I see. I don't know. I'm not in the. I believe you. I'm going to take your word for it. See the redhead. I read a bunch of biographies back in the day, and his might have just been like a shorter one. But it was Aaron Burr was the vice president to Thomas Jefferson. I can't believe I screwed this one up. And someone said that I might be screwing this up again, that he was going to raise an army and attack Jefferson or something like that. And they brought him on trial for treason, and it never happened or it did happen. The trial happened. I believe Luther Martin was his attorney. And because they only had the one witness, it didn't happen. Our founding fathers dueled like every other day. You know, I was interested in dueling, just the idea behind it, because you think it's kind of like a Western American kind of badass, but if you think about it, I wouldn't want to be challenged to a duel by some crazy person and then not come home that night because I scuffed some guy's Timbs or something. No, that's an over exaggeration, but I'm not sure what rises to. I challenge you to a duel, but I don't want any part of it. And also, so it was against the law. There was no law ever saying that it was okay. It was just something that people did. It was crazy. Just stop by. Wow, awesome. Oh, thank you, Kristen. Kristen, by all means, stick around. Do you fence? I do not, but I should try it. A lot of my classmates, not a lot, but a few of my classmates fenced at West Point. I was very interested in it. I just never got around to taking it up. Let's get through Article 4, 5, and 6 here. Maybe 7. Might as well, right? This is going to be quick. Article 4, Section 1. Full faith and credit shall be given in each state to the public arts, records, and judicial proceedings of every other state, and the Congress may, by general laws, prescribe the manner in which such arts, records, and proceedings shall be proved and effect thereof. The full faith and credit clause. Section 2. The citizens of each state shall be entitled to all privileges and immunities in several states. A person charged in any state with treason, felony, or other crime who shall flee from justice and be found in another state shall, on demand of the executive authority of the state from which he fled, be delivered up to be removed from the state having jurisdiction of the crime. No person held to service or labor in one state under the laws thereof, escaping into another, shall, in consequence of any law or regulation therein, be discharged from such service or labor, but shall be delivered up on claim of the party to whom such service or labor may be due. And I believe this is talking about slavery? I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. Not something I studied hard. But the privileges and immunities clause is important. It's a place where you get some laws and some rights and protections from. Section 3, and this is of Article 4, new states may be admitted by the Congress into this union, but no new state shall be formed or erected within the jurisdiction of any other state, nor any state be formed by the junction of two or more states or parts of states without the consent of the legislatures of the states concerned as well as of the Congress. The Congress shall have power to dispose of and make all needful rules and regulations respecting the territory or other property belonging to the United States, and nothing in this Constitution shall be so construed as to prejudice and any claims of the United States or of any particular state. Section 4. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government, and shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of the legislature or of the executive when the legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence. So that's a good one because, you're always getting people that, we live in a democracy, the Constitution's a living document. You're like, no. Actually, Article 4, Section 4 says it's a republican form of government, And this document is as dead as a doornail, according to Scalia. Dead is dead, or something like that. It's, one of my favorite lines. Article 5. The Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary, shall propose amendments to this Constitution, or on the application of the legislature of 2/3 of the several states, shall call a convention for the proposing amendments, which in either case shall be valid to all intents and purposes as part of this Constitution when ratified by the legislatures of 3/4 of the several states, or by conventions and 3/4 thereof, as the one or the other mode of ratification may be proposed by the Congress, provided that no amendment which may be made prior to the year 1808 shall in any manner affect the first and fourth clauses in the 9th section of the first article, and that no state without its consent shall be deprived of its equal suffrage in the Senate. And now I just need to think about that for a second. Article 1 is where we get Congress from. So that's what they're talking about. You can't mess with that, I'm guessing, without its own consent, let's say. Just wanted to talk that through. In chat, let me know if I maybe misinterpreted that. 10 paces per dueler and 3 footsteps, 64. Missed all the time. Good news is I got that. You got that fly. Look, man, I am a fly hunter too. I don't know. We'll make a fly emoji or something, because if there's like a fly in the room, it's a big fat fly. I can't think until it's dead. Article 6. So we're almost done here. Article 6. All debts contracted and engagements entered into before the adoption of this Constitution shall be as valid against the United States under this Constitution and as under the Confederation. This Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby, anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. The senators and representatives before mentioned, and the members of the several states' legislatures, and all executive and judicial officers, both of the United States and of the several states, shall be bound by oath or affirmation to support this Constitution, but no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust under the United States. There we go. Article 7. This is where we're coming to a head here. The ratification of the conventions of nine states shall be sufficient for the establishment of this Constitution between the states so ratifying the same. The word "the" being interlined between the 7th and 8th lines of the first page, the word 30 being partly written on an erasure in the 15th line of the first page, the words "is tried" being interlined between the 32nd and 33rd lines of the first page, and the word "the" being interlined between the 43rd and the 44th lines of the second page. Attest William Jackson, Secretary, done in convention by the unanimous consent of the states present the 7th day of September in the year of our Lord 1787, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 12th in witness whereof we have hereunto subscribed our names. There we go. Oh boy, look who's joined us in the chat. Who is that? Mrs. Dave the Lawyer has joined us. I've been giggling it up. We just finished. Jacqueline, did you just get here? Or have you been here? Are you lurking? Lurking on me? Woo! You got that purple coffee. You know what I'm saying? I wonder lately about 17th Amendment. Senate ain't slowing down shit. State legislatures are kind of getting pushed aside. 17th. Popular election of senators. Is there something else? So is that what we're talking? Yeah, we're talking about, that's the popular election of senators. Is that supposed to slow down the swing of the pendulum, Kirsten Peterson? Let me know. I'm interested in what you're getting at. I think I know what you're getting at. Jacqueline just got here as I finished. Story of my life. This felt like training all over again. I don't know. Agent 34. I don't know which. I can't tell by just the. Go to your channel. Maybe it'll be more clear if it's CIA or FBI, Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Investigations. Oh man, Jacqueline didn't believe me. Don't stain the white ruffles. I know. I've been very careful. I've been very, very careful. Yeah. It's I kind of. Gregory Hickey, I'm well. How are you, sir? Thank you for stopping in. I was just gonna say, I remember reading the Constitution throughout various points of my life. Trump must be done because people are trickling in now. Am I gonna start from the top and read through the Constitution again? I don't know. What should we read? Where's the maybe the Bill of Rights? Let's. Should we keep going? Has Google rewritten history here? You can tell if it's the actual text because it's, this is written in plain modern day English. The first Congress of the United States proposed 12 amendments to the Constitution. The 1789 Joint Resolution of Congress proposing the amendments is on display in the Rotunda in the National Archives Museum. 10 of the proposed 12 amendments were ratified by 3/4 of the state legislatures on December 15th, 1791. The ratified articles, Articles 3 through 12, constitute the first 10 amendments to the Constitution or the U.S. Bill of Rights in 1992. 203 is after it was proposed. Article 2 was ratified as the 27th Amendment to the Constitution. Article 1 was never ratified. Interesting. Limits pay raises in Congress. They did that in 92. Make a poll. Should Dave add a white wig? She's not wrong. See, I like it when Jacqueline's here. I really do. I want her to be involved in the channel more. I really do. I beg her. I literally beg her. I saw it jump to 100% yes immediately. Interesting. So I don't know that I've read it in this form, but let's go ahead and just go for it. Let's just see what we've got here. Transcription of the 1789 Joint Resolution of Congress proposing 12 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. Congress of the United States begun and held at the city of New York on Wednesday, the 4th of March, 1789. The conventions of a number of the states having, at the time of their adopting the Constitution, expressed a desire in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its powers, that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added, and as extending the ground of public confidence in the government will best ensure the beneficent ends of its institution. I love that Jacqueline and Brandy are talking. It's like my two worlds are colliding, and it's a good thing. I'm loving it. Resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled 2/3 of both houses concurring that the following articles be proposed to the legislatures of the several states as amendments to the Constitution of the United States, all or any of which articles, when ratified by 3/4 of said legislatures, to be valid to all intents and purposes as part of the said Constitution, viz. Article, in addition to and amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America proposed by Congress and ratified by the legislature of the several states pursuant to the 5th article of the original Constitution. Article the 1st, after the first enumeration required by the 1st article of the Constitution, there shall be one representative for every 30,000 until the number shall amount to 100, after which the proportion shall be so regulated by Congress that there shall be not less than 100 representatives nor less than one representative for every 40,000 persons until the number of representatives shall amount to 200, after which the proportion shall be so regulated by Congress that shall not be less than 200 representatives, no more than one representative for every 50,000 persons. Article the 2nd. Now, no law varying the compensation for the services of the senators and representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives shall have intervened. Article the 3rd. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and petition the government for redress of grievances. That is the First Amendment. Article 4, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. You have to imagine that when they saw that, they got these notes back. They're like, oh, God. We're not going to be able to run amok. You know? The people of the states got this, this Constitution. They're like, yeah, slow down a little bit, guys. We have notes. Article the 5th. No soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. That's the third. No quarter. Article the 6th. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. And this is one area the government tramples on all the time. They manufacture probable cause. They used it to trample and get into Mar-a-Lago and toss Donald Trump's property. And I'm sure there's some people in the chat who've had similar experiences. Article the 7th. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject to the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. And this is where we get Dave Chappelle's famous sketch, the 5th. Nor be deprived of the life, liberty, and property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. It's the takings clause. Dave's enthusiasm. Thank you. Thank you. Article the 8th. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to speedy trial and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed to the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witness against him, that's the confrontation clause, to have a compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. And that's, a lot of rights rolled in there. Articles the 9th, in suits at common law, which is the whole system's built on common law. We've developed our own laws over common law in a way. In suits at common law, where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, and the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any courts of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. Article the 10th. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines be imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. And this is, again, we can, think about Donald Trump here, and he's basically been fined $1 billion by the government in several different courts. It's ridiculous. It's a complete violation of his rights. I think it's the Article the 10th, but this is the 8th Amendment as we know it, which would outline cruel and unusual punishment, I believe. Article the 11th. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by people. Article the 12th. The power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution or prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. And that's basically saying all the powers that we haven't listed out here, we had the enumeration, and now if we haven't listed it here, it's for the states or to the people. And that is the 10th Amendment. It's a good thing that the U.S. This is Pinocchio. Oh, yeah, Brandy. Oh my gosh, did you see the hearing? I know you saw the hearing yesterday. I've been clipping it all day, and it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch these guys lie and just toss it back and forth to each other and chum it up a little bit even. A test. Frederick Augustus Muhlenberg, Speaker of the United States. Speaker of the House of Representatives, John Adams, Vice President of the United States and President of the Senate, John Beckley, Clerk of House of Representatives, Sam Otis, Secretary of the Senate. The U.S. Bill of Rights. This is what we've been working towards. And thank you. You love it, Laffy. Thank you for joining. Marquez, Coleman, thank you. Everybody, come in, join, subscribe. I gifted 5 memberships. I think tomorrow I'll have another 10 to gift for the month. Come back. The following text is a transcription of the first 10 amendments to the Constitution in their original form. These amendments were ratified December 15th, 1791. A form what is known as the Bill of Rights. And these are the rights that the government tramples on a daily basis, too. We could take this right out of the gate. Amendment 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. And so I think, we see a lot of the federal agencies, which we're here to think about tonight and ponder, abridging free speech by asking private platforms to basically curb what we're saying. And not even our government. I guess this is how they're skirting regulations now. They're having the World Health Organization do their bidding for them. They're not subject to the Constitution. The Constitution only is, basically a rule book for the U.S. government. So, onward. Amendment 2. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Amendment 3. No soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. Amendment 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. And that is a right that gets trampled every day. No, Jacqueline. And we're going to pray. You know what we're going to pray about? We're going to pray about the same thing we pray about before every meal, which is please protect Donald Trump. Please protect Donald Trump. And thank you for the food we're about to receive. Amen. And that is the truth. Amendment 5. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject to the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. And I don't know why, while I was reading that, I was thinking about the letters of marque and reprisal, which for those of you who weren't with us during that clause, is basically a letter that you can get from the government, the Congress or the Senate, that says that you can be a pirate and go raid ships on the high seas. And I remember seeing just not too long ago, I think it was after they did not impeach Mayorkas, Senator Lee was just going off. He wasn't filibustering because they weren't doing it. He was just kind of dragging it on purpose because, at least they had that time to talk about how, wow, we're really shirking our duties by not impeaching Mayorkas. They delivered the articles of impeachment. The House delivered the articles of impeachment. It's our job as senators to impeach Mayorkas at this point. And he went off talking about how, various parts of the Constitution and how letters of marque and reprisal aren't a thing anymore, but they should be. And he would like to maybe see if we can get that going again. And I would like to be on that team. How great would that be? And we were talking, Jacqueline, about how that would be a great story arc for the channel if somehow we're able to lobby for a letter of marque and reprisal and become pirates. Oh, that would be so cool. I think. Maybe not. Amendment 6. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and causes of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, and to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of the counsel of his defense. Amendment 7. In suits at common law, where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, The right of the trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. Amendment 8. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. And we can think of Donald Trump when we read that. I mean, that's the only thing I think about. Amendment 9. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. Amendment 10. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. And I mean, I can't just save Amendment 11 through 27 for another time. I feel like we got to finish this off. Public defender joke. What do we got? I missed the. Oh, you need a Hunter Biden. We do need a Hunter Biden sticker. What was the public defender joke? Why does everyone talk about democracy instead of a republic? Oh, I know. We were just talking about that, Rachel. Article 4, Section 4. I think it's exactly where it spells it out. Amendment 11. No, Article 3, Section 2 of the Constitution was modified by Amendment 11. The judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity commenced by or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state or by citizens or subjects of a foreign state. Amendment 12. A portion of Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution was superseded by the 12th Amendment. The electors shall meet in their respective states to vote by ballot for the president and vice president, one of whom at least shall not be an inhabitant of the same state with themselves. They shall name in their ballots the person voted for as president, and in distinct ballots the person voted for as vice president, and they shall make distinct lists of all persons voted for as president and of all persons voted for as vice president, and in the number of votes for each, which list shall they sign and certify and transmit sealed to the seat of the government of the United States. Directed to the President of the Senate, the President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and House of Representatives, open all certificates, and the votes shall be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes shall be president. Votes for president shall be president, the number of a majority of the whole number of electors appointed, and if no person shall have such a majority, then from the persons having the highest number not exceeding, this one always gets me, these things get me, on the list of those voted for as president, the House of Representatives shall choose immediately by ballot the president. But in choosing the president, the votes shall be taken by states. The representation from each state having one vote, a quorum for this purpose shall consist of a member or members from 2/3 of the states, and majority of all the states shall be necessary to a choice. And if the House of Representatives shall not choose a president whenever the right of choice shall devolve upon them before the 4th day of March the next following, then the vice president shall act as president, as in the case of death or of other constitutional disability of the president. The person having the greatest number of votes as vice president shall be vice president, if such number be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed, and if no person have a majority, then from the two highest numbers on the list, the Senate shall choose the vice president. A quorum for the purpose shall consist 2/3 of the whole number of senators, and the majority of the whole number shall be necessary to a choice. But no person constitutionally ineligible to the office of president shall be eligible to that of vice president of the United States, superseded by Section 3 of the 20th Amendment. So there's a little bit of a history going on here, which I forget. I don't always remember. I thought it was in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. Then I guess a couple of times they go on to change the way. And I wonder what the circumstances were. I think so Cynthia, this outfit was for a 50K special. I wanted this outfit. Okay, the whole story behind this outfit. I did a community post on the 4th of July. And I put my head onto like a constitutional, I was like a founders, I had AI do founders. I put my head on one of them. I was like, oh man, that outfit looks amazing. I swear to God. And I went out and I found they happened to have like a really good quality costume. Executive orders destroy this whole document. Yeah, Rachel, exactly. Nixon, Kennedy, Hawaii, alternate electors. I don't even know. I wish I knew, the history. They just don't teach it like they used to, even in law school. my con law, I mean, there's two different kinds of con law professors, essentially. There's a living, breathing document guy, and then there's originalists who say it's the written as it's written, and it's a dead document, and that's that. And the Bill of Rights is the Bill of Rights, but, oh, no, Foggy City. No. Come back anytime. Not always educating. I just wanted to do something silly and fun, but I really appreciate everybody coming in. That's really awesome. Oh, I'll read it more often. I'll make this a regular thing. Make it fancy. And I do want to try reading it more often, at least the core part of the Constitution. I want to make it, hey, maybe I could be a constitutional law professor someday. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. The extra detail. And I hope I'm getting it right, because I almost got wrong the Aaron Burr, Luther Martin story, but I mixed up the attorney and his client. They were just, that's all that was. Yeah. Okay, we got through that one, right? Yes. Amendment 13, portion of Article 4, Section 2 of the Constitution was superseded by the 13th Amendment. Section 1, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Section 2, Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. And then we get 14. Section 1, all persons born of naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of laws. You get a lot of due process and equal protection. That is something that you study heavily in law school. In Section 2, representatives shall be apportioned among the several states according to their respective numbers, counting the whole number of persons in each state, excluding Indians not taxed. But when the right to vote to any election for their choice of electors for President and Vice President of the United States, Representative in Congress, the executive and judicial officers of a state, or the members of a legislature thereof, is denied to any of the male inhabitants of such state, being 21 years of age and citizens of the United States, or in any way abridged except participation in a rebellion or other crime. The basis of representative therein shall be reduced in the proportion which the number of such male citizens shall bear the whole number of male citizens 21 years in age in such state. Interesting. Section 3. No person shall be a senator, representative in Congress, or elector of president and vice president, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state, who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any state legislature or as an executive or judicial officer of any state, to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may by a vote of 2/3 of each house remove such disability. Oh, interesting. Now, I know you're going to have Democrats are thinking one way on this one and Republicans are thinking on another. As a Republican, I guess define enemy and who the Bidens gave aid and comfort to, And also, by the way, I don't know how much you think the insurrection was Donald Trump, induced that, but he didn't, because government agencies literally planted bombs. It seems like, hey, ATF, did you plant this bomb here? Was it a training exercise? And they can't comment on it. It should be no. The answer to that should be no. That was on January 6th. That's crazy. And so I don't know how you feel about that one, but Jacqueline's still there. I don't know if you know this about us. One of the two of us may have wanted to go, and I may have been like, it's a trap. And that's a true story, and she could tell you. She could confirm. I live in Rick and Morty, and this is not something I relish, obviously 9/11, but there's a point where they cover 9/11 in Rick and Morty, and Rick stands up, he's on the couch, he goes, oh no, they're going to use this to take away our freedoms. I think about that. Well, I think about that a lot. Section 4, the validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debts incurred for the payment of the pensions and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned but neither the United States nor any state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in aid of insurrection or rebellion against the United States, or any claim for the loss or emancipation of any slave, but all debts, obligations, and claims shall be held illegal and void. Authorized by law, including debts incurred for the payment of pensions and bounties for services and suppressing insurrections shall not be questioned, but neither the United States nor state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in aid of insurrection or rebellion. So that's interesting. So by my reading of that, the ATF should not be reimbursed for their training exercise on January 6th. This is my interpretation. Section 5. Congress shall have the power to enforce by appropriate legislation the provision of this article. Amendment 15, Section 1. The right of the citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Section 2. The Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Amendment 16. The Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived without apportionment among several states and without regard to any census or enumeration. Boo! Amendment 16. Boo. Boo you, sir. Amendment 17. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of two senators. Let me start that over again. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state elected by the people thereof for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. The electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for the electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislatures. When vacancies happen in the representation of a state, any state in the Senate, the executive authority of such state shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies, provided that the legislature of any state may empower the executive thereof to make temporary appointments until the people fill the vacancies by election, as the legislature may direct. This amendment shall not be construed as to affect the election or term of any senator chosen before it comes valid as part of the Constitution. 18. Section 1. After 1 year from the ratification of this article, the manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors within the importation thereof into or the exportation thereof from the United States and all territories subject to jurisdiction thereof for beverage purposes is hereby prohibited. That's in 1917. They write real funny. Section 2. The Congress and several states shall have concurrent power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Section 3. The article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by legislature of the several states as provided in the Constitution within 7 years from the date of the submission hereof to the states by the Congress. Boo. Boo 18. 19. The rights of the citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. 20. Section 1. The term of the President and Vice President shall end at noon on the 20th day of January, and the term of the Senators and Representatives at noon on the 3rd day of January of the years in which such terms would have ended if the article had not been ratified, and the terms of their successors shall begin. Section 2. The Congress shall assemble at least once in every year, and such meeting shall begin at noon on the 3rd day of January, unless they shall by law appoint a different day. Section 3. If at the time fixed for the beginning of the term of President, the President-elect shall have died, the Vice President-elect shall become President. If a President shall not have been chosen before the time fixed for the beginning of his term, or if the President-elect shall have failed to qualify, then the Vice President-elect shall act as President until a President shall have qualified. A lot of shall. And the Congress may by law provide for the same for the case wherein neither a President-elect nor a Vice President-elect shall, again, have qualified, declaring who shall then act as President. What are we doing here? What year is this? 1933. Declaring who shall then act as President, or the manner in which who is to act shall be selected, and such person shall act accordingly until the President or Vice President shall have qualified. That is the most amount of shall I've ever read in a paragraph. That's ridiculous. It seems like between the 10s and the 30s is just terrible for language. I don't know. Section 4, the Congress may by law provide for the case of death of any of the persons from whom the House of Representatives may choose a president whenever the right of choice shall have devolved upon them, and for the case of the death of any of the persons from whom the Senate may choose a vice president whenever the right of choice shall have devolved upon them. Section 5, Sections 1 and 2 shall take effect on the 15th day of October following the ratifications of the article, and Section 6 says this article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by the legislature for 3/4 of the several states within 7 years from the date of this submission. Whoa. Shall. Fun fact, Dave's a marathon runner. Fun fact, Dave has run a marathon in a few months, let's say. Maybe going on years soon. Amendment 21. Section 1. The 18th article of amendment to the Constitution of the United States is hereby repealed. Woo! Party, right? What do we got? I just finished a 5 gram, and it's kind of the same thing. I don't know what's 5 grams? How do you measure? What do we measure 5 grams? Don't answer that question. As your fake entertainment attorney, real attorney practicing, but not. I can't be your attorney in the stream, dispensing advice. I'm just a joke. I'm joking here. Yeah, don't answer my question. Inoperative, right? So this is, yes, heck yeah. 21 repeals the 18th. The transportation or importation into any state, territory, or possession of the United States for delivery or use therein of intoxicating liquors in violation of the laws thereof is hereby prohibited. Section 3, the article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by conventions in the several states as provided in the Constitution within 7 years from the date of submission hereof to the states by the Congress. And now we're on 22. Quit capping, you got steam in the cup. I don't know. Steam? I don't know what you think I got. What's steam? Are we saying nothing's in the cup? Is steam nothing? I don't know. I'm trying to get into that, the colonial, I don't know. Colonial really has taken on a different term lately, huh? But whatever. I call it colonial drag to my wife earlier. Anyway, it's wine. Milk was a bad choice. Just kidding. It's milk. Milk. I love milk. 22. Section 1. No person shall be elected to the office of president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of the president more than once. But this article shall not apply to any person holding the office of the president when this article was proposed by the Congress, and shall not prevent any person who may be holding office to the president or acting president during the term within which this article becomes operative from holding the office of president or acting as president during the remainder of such term. Section 2. This article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by the legislature of 3/4 of the several states within 7 years from the date of its submission to the states by the Congress. 23. Section 1. The district construing the seat of government of the United States shall appoint in such manner as the Congress may direct a number of electors of president and vice president equal to the whole number of senators and representatives in the Congress to which the district would be entitled if it were a state, but in no event more than the least populous state. They shall be in addition to those appointed by the states, but they shall be considered for the purposes of the election of the president and vice president to be electors appointed by a state, and they shall meet in the district and perform such duties as provided by the 12th article of the amendment. I don't like this one. I don't know. Something about that one feels wrong. Milk from the tap. So are we saying this is what gives Washington D.C.? It's I don't know. Wait, where are we? We're in 23. Yeah, that's bull. Section 2. The Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. 24. The rights, this is Section 1. The rights of the citizens of the United States to vote in any primary or other election of the president or vice president for electors for the president or vice president or for a senator or representative in Congress shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any other state by reason for failure to pay any poll tax or other tax. Section 2, Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. 25, note, Article Section 1 of the Constitution was affected by the 25th Amendment. Section 1, in case of removal, okay, this one is very relevant right here. In case of removal of the president from office or of his death or resignation, the vice president shall become president. Section 2, whenever there is a vacancy in the office of the vice president, the president shall nominate a vice president who shall take office upon confirmation by a majority vote of both houses of Congress. Section 3. Whenever the president transmits to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives his written declaration that he is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, and until he transmits them a written declaration to the contrary, such powers and duties shall be discharged by the vice president as acting president. And so we're going to reread that one. Whenever the president transmits to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives his written declaration that he is unable to discharge the powers of and duties of his office, and until he transmits them a written declaration saying that he can, such powers and duties shall be discharged by the president. So the president, in the Section 3, it's saying he needs to send his own letter. And Kathy, hey, how's it going? By the way, anybody who wants to shout, be out. And if you at me, the back end of YouTube highlights it in orange. It's very easy for me to see. The question is Mrs. Dave the lawyer still here? She was, and she still is. I was just curious. Section 4. Whenever the vice president and a majority of either the principal officers of the executive departments or of such the other body as Congress may by law provide, transmit to the president pro tempore and the Senate or the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall immediately assume the powers and duties to the office as acting president. Okay, one more time. Whenever the vice president and a majority of either the principal officers of the executive departments or of such other body as Congress may by law provide, transmit to the president. So it doesn't have to be the president, the vice president. Okay, and we know this because we heard that this is what happened. They basically threatened this and said, you're going to drop out as candidate or we're going to do this to you, I think. Thereafter, when the president transmits the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives his written declaration that no inability exists, he shall resume the powers and duties of his office. Unless the vice president and majority of either the principal officers of the executive department or such other body as Congress may by law provide, transmit within 4 days to the president pro tempore and Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office. Thereupon, Congress shall decide the issue, assembling within 48 hours for that purpose, if not in session. If the Congress within 21 days after the receipt of the latter written declaration, or if the Congress is not in session within 21 days after Congress is required to assemble, determines by 2/3 vote of both houses that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall continue to discharge the same as acting president. Otherwise, the president shall resume the powers and duties of his office. All right, we're closing in on it. 26, Section 1, the rights of the citizens of the United States who are 18 years or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of age. And Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Let me just read that one more time. The right of citizens of the United States who are 18 years of age or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of age. Okay. Okay. Okay, so what we have here, how are you? Hey, Neil, what's going on, man? And Stone, have you already covered sovereign rights? I mean, as far as they've been hardwired into the Constitution, but not by themselves, say. But yeah, we've covered everything up until this point. We're about to read the 27th Amendment, and we've read through the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. So that was beyond my goal. I just wanted to read the Constitution, but I thought, let's keep going, baby. You know? 27. No law varying the compensation for the services of the senators or representatives shall take effect until the elected representatives shall have intervened. And there we go. We did it. It took about an hour and a half, and that's about how long I thought it would take. Not bad. But I do want to have the discussion now. So it seems to me that the federal agencies that are acting under basically Article II and the presidential powers, they're really, they act within the loopholes, in between the lines. They've found ways to skirt the system. Teams or, legions of lawyers have figured out ways to get around these things and say, oh, we'll get back to you on this, or I don't know the answer to that, or this is classified, or, we're still investigating. Yeah, thank you, Amy and Brandy, for sticking around. Wow, I really appreciate it. This is more fun than I thought it would be, for sure. I really enjoyed this reading of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. Thank you. Thank you very much. Shall is preferable. They're teaching you to do less shall. I will say, when I was going through law school, they were trying to beat the shall out of us, more or less. They're like, don't do this. Don't do this. Help me with tax evasion. That's funny. Let me tell you, there's a lawyer who I follow who seems to be really into finance, but I think he's Nashville. Is he Kentucky or Tennessee based? Bryant Boyd. I think he can help you with that. Tax attorneys are very expensive. I've heard. I've never needed one. My father-in-law is a tax accountant, and he does our taxes. So that's the story, as my father says. Did you know that the October used to be the 8th month hence? Yeah, I've heard something like that, Hawk. I think we watch a lot of the same Netflix stuff. Oh, Cynthia, it was my pleasure. I enjoyed this. Yeah, it's true. Shall is not as preferred as it once was in between 1910 and 1930 something. It seems like they were relying heavily on the word shall. Revive the real Tea Party. No taxation without representation. Way too much taxation. We really need to send some notes to Congress. You know what I mean? I guess. All right. Well, with that said, yes. Shall we? I will. I'm gonna end it. I really appreciate it. I just got done reading this. I'm gonna try to read some Harry Potter tonight to my son. He's had a little temperature the past few days. Hopefully, maybe he'll have some really cool hallucinations. When I was a kid, I'd have the crazy dreams. Maybe I'll give him some crazy dreams. Harry Potter dreams. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I really appreciate you. 50K, that's what we were here for. Crazy. It was 1K. April 10th, 20th, I was hitting 1K. Thank you so much. Really. And keep an eye out, Brandy. I think we'll be adding a Hunter Biden emoji, too. I think the scarf picture is the one. I think she's non-responsive. Is Jacqueline? She's probably looking, but not at the chat. Hola. Oh, there she is. All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. One more from Kirsten. Richard Hofstadter. Great issues in the American history, from the Revolution War to the Civil War. 1765 to 1865, excellent gathering relevant issues and docs the Constitution. Well, check it out. I want to do the Federalist Papers, and maybe we can add that too. I'll check that out. Thank you, everybody, and keep an eye out for the Federalist Papers. We'll be doing those next.